In this video series, we are going to start with a technology which is very much common nowadays for the web UI developers, and here we are going to start working with the Bootstrap. Basically, Bootstrap is a free tool which you can download from its official website, and it's open source. That means you can customize it as per your requirement. So it's, as I said, it's free and open front-end web framework. Front-end means it will be helpful for us for the UI development, not for any server-side programming. It works along with the HTML and CSS, means when using a core HTML and CSS, you design a page, you can actually work with this Bootstrap to make your web UI even more interactive, which will take lesser efforts because Bootstrap is going to give you so much predefined CSS which you can directly use for creating a web page. Supports responsive web design. Nowadays, as we know that people are relying more on the devices like mobile and tablets than a laptop or maybe any other bigger screen size, alright? So whatever website or whatever web page you will design by using Bootstrap, you can actually make it responsive. Means you can predict or you can define different layouts for the different screen sizes, and as the screen size will change, the appearance of your website will change as well. So that's what this responsive web design means for the different screen sizes your web layout will be different. Almost all latest browsers supports Bootstrap. Alright, so this browser compatibility is again an added advantage so that it will motivate you to work with the Bootstrap. It is developed by Mark Otto and Jacob Thornton and the team at Twitter. They launched it 19 August 2011, and after that particular time this Bootstrap has been progressively increased in the market, and nowadays a lot of web designers are actually using this tool for putting that in the web application. It is licensed under Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So this is about the introduction of Bootstrap, but if you want to learn this, what all things you should know. As I said, it will work along with HTML and CSS. You must have the good knowledge of HTML and CSS so that you should be able to apply the Bootstrap in your web application development at the front end. Along with that, if you have the idea about jQuery and JavaScript, that will give you an added advantage in the time when you will start working with the plugins. So these are some basic things that you should know. And why we should learn Bootstrap? Because it is going to provide us some number of benefits like mobile first approach. As I already said, that here we can actually define the web page. We can actually define the designing of a web page for the different screen sizes. So basically we are also supporting the mobile, alright? And why this responsive concept comes into the picture? Because of the mobile applications, alright? So that any user, if it's opening my website in the mobile, then what I want him to see in a small screen, alright? Because when you're working in a laptop, you have a bigger area, you can put the different things at a different place, but on a small screen, you should put the main thing at the top. So how you want your page to display, this mobile first approach will help us in the responsive web designing. Browser support, as we discussed, like all the latest browser supports the Bootstrap. So as I said, it will be a collection of CSS classes. So we know like all browser already supports the CSS, and here we are just going to get the predefined classes of CSS which we will use accordingly. Easy to start as it's just about HTML and CSS, so you don't require any advanced thing to get started with the Bootstrap. That means you can actually learn a very industry demanding technology without much efforts in the beginning. And responsive design for the different screen sizes, again that same thing will come for the different screen sizes. This will help us out. So basically, when you will learn this Bootstrap, you will actually enjoy this, and you will be able to design the different aspects of your web page for the different screen sizes. So this is all about the current video. Now in the next video, we will see how we can set the environment for working with the Bootstrap, and then after we'll start implementing the Bootstrap in our web pages. That is all for this video. Now, as we have already gone through with the introduction of Bootstrap, now let's set up the environment so that we can start implementing with this technology. So for downloading this Bootstrap, we will go to the official website of Bootstrap, from where we will download the package, and once we are ready with those particular things, what we are going to get is the scaffolding. Scaffolding means we will get a number of folders differently for the CSS, for the JS in the different folders, so that we can actually pick up the particular concept. Like it will not be hard to find whatever we are getting from the package, because it will be scaffolded in a particular, it will be structured on the particular folders. CSS is basically the set of all the classes which we can apply in the different parts of our web page, such as the header, the table, div, or maybe any other tag. Components, like if you want to work with any, let's say, glyph icons, alright, you want to create a button in which you want to put an icon. So these are all the part of components which you will get from the package. And the JavaScript plugins. JavaScript plugins will basically help us in making the rapid application development. Alright, like plugins will give us some predefined functionality for which we don't have to make much efforts. So let's start setting up the environment, and once we are done, I will use Visual Studio as the editor tool. But in case you don't have any ID like Visual Studio, since I'm using it, I'm a .NET guy, you can use it with any other IDE like maybe NetBeans or any other. Or if you don't have any, you can start it from the core, such as you can take any editor like Notepad or any browser. Alright, so just a basic editor like Notepad and any latest browser will help you. So let's start working on the environment setup now. So to get started with the environment setup of Bootstrap, first of all, I'll have to come on the official website of Bootstrap, that is getbootstrap.com, and here in the home page you will find a link for downloading. As soon as I'll follow this, here I'll get a number of options to download and to set the environment for Bootstrap. First option is to download the compiled CSS and JS file. So when you will download that, you will get the compiled code for this particular version of Bootstrap. Similarly, you can also download the core source file of the Bootstrap, that is the uncompiled version of Bootstrap, for which you will have to compile the Bootstrap as per your own requirement. Now, next one is the Bootstrap CDN, where you will get the link of the required CSS and JS file, which you can copy and can start working on Bootstrap. Similarly, you have the package managers. Maybe if you are working with Node.js, then you have npm for Ruby gems, for Composer, for Bower, for NuGet. You have the different kind of the environment available for which you can just configure and download your Bootstrap. Here I'll start working with the compiled CSS and JS file. So I'll click here on the download, and as soon as I'll do that, it will start downloading Bootstrap on my local system. As soon as it is done, I can come to the folder where I will get the zip file of this Bootstrap. So first thing what I'll do is I'll extract this, and inside this I'll find a couple of folder, that is CSS and JS. So inside CSS I will get the list of all the required CSS files which we can use in our designing. So here, as you can see, bootstrap.css, which is the base CSS file for the Bootstrap. When I'll open that, let's open it in Notepad++. So here you can see it is much clear code, and here we can just check the code, we can make the required changes. Similarly, you will find the minified version of the same file, where you can find the code is not very much clear. Alright, And obviously if some developer wants, he will not be able to understand what exactly is mentioned here. So we will use this bootstrap.css file for the development purpose, while this bootstrap.minified version.css for the production purpose. So that's why it will be lighter. Alright, means in the production server it will not occupy much space because the white spaces are being removed, and if you will compare the size even here, you will find it smaller than the original bootstrap file. So here you will find the different purpose bootstrap CSS files like grid. Again you will find a minified version. So here you will find the reboot.css and similarly a minified version for that reboot. Alright, so these are all the CSS files which we will use. Now let's come to the JS file, where you can find a couple of minified version and the normal version of bootstrap.js, which will be useful when you will be working on the widgets. Make sure that when you are using the things from these JS files, you will have to refer the jQuery CDN of file as well, because the prerequisite means for using these files, jQuery reference will be essential. So now here, as you can see, I have downloaded the required files in my system. In the next video, we'll see how can we get started with the implementation of Bootstrap. So as in the previous video, we have seen how to download the Bootstrap package and what is all there inside the Bootstrap package. Now let's start working with the very basic web page designing using the Bootstrap CSS classes. So let's see how to start with the very basic Bootstrap implementation now. Now, in order to start creating a website, here in a folder I have just copied the downloaded extracted Bootstrap folder. Let's rename that to Bootstrap so that it will be easier for us to give the path of any of the file which you want to take. And now I will just create a new HTML page here. For that I'll open Notepad++ and can start writing my code. Here for the ease, what I'll do, I'll just come back to the Bootstrap official website, and here you can find the documentation inside which you will get this starter template. So let's copy this template here. Alright, and I will paste that in my application. I'll just save that in E drive where I have put the folder. So now here I'll save it as index as an HTML page. Alright, so let's choose HTML here. So after saving, I'll see how it is looking on the browser. So for that, let's come to the directory, and here I'll open my index.html. Alright, and here you can see this is how your index.html is looking like. Here basically they are referring to the online, means the CDN path for the Bootstrap. So here, if you are not every time connected with internet, what you can do, you can just refer to the local Bootstrap file. And where is that? It is located in the Bootstrap folder. Alright, and Bootstrap, then CSS folder, and then bootstrap.min.js. Alright, it is being encrypted using SHA. Alright, and now for all these files you can simply start referring to your own local files. If you're fine, you can anytime continue with the CDN path as well. Now let's start working with the same thing when I'll try to make an application using Visual Studio. So now here I'll come to File, New, Website, and from here I'll take an empty website of ASP.NET. I'll continue working on that on the HTTP path as well. So let's name it Bootstrap Web. Say OK. Now here I will add a new HTML page. So right click over the project name, say add new item, and here I will choose the HTML page. Since I'm not going to work anywhere on a server side code, so I'm taking the HTML. If you want, you can take web form with an extension .aspx. Now let's rename this HTML page as index.html. say add, and here as well I will replace that code with the copied code which I've got from the Bootstrap official website. So let's execute this. Alright, so here you can see the Bootstrap is actually not working with this one. So what I'll do here, I will first of all add an existing files, all the existing files here. For that I'll just copy this folder. We'll come to Visual Studio, right click here and say paste. Alright, so now here I have all the required files and folders. So what I can do, I can start changing the path out here. So here I'll remove this link tag and will drop this Bootstrap link right here. So let's save the changes. Just come to the browser and refresh this one. And here you can see the font got changed. That means now I can work with this Bootstrap. Here, as you can see, you will find some of the JS files referring. We do have this bootstrap.main.js right here in our local folder. So if you want, anytime you can just replace these CDN paths with your local files. So this is how you can start working with Bootstrap, and now in the coming videos of Bootstrap we'll find some more features of it.